While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Mornin Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get her? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Mornin Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why? I need.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why? I need.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get her? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you. It's Monday, the 6th of May. Good to have you for another Morning Barbados presentation. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until just around 8 o'clock or so this morning. Certainly hope you had a wonderful weekend. Our weekend started on quite the high note as we launched our Crop Over 2024 campaign here at CBC on Friday night. Loads of artists. We had the Monarchs coming through from 2023, as well as some of the new personalities you're going to be seeing. Introduced you to some of the new shows that will be coming up during this crop over season and beyond. So we hope you had a great time. Don't worry if you missed it. You're going to have an opportunity to see Feeling the Festival all over again, which is our general theme for crop over. And remember, this time we are going big on everything. So we are definitely going back to our roots, and we're going to be sharing that with you in the coming weeks and months. But today on Morning Barbados, we have loads planned for you. We're going to be telling you all about easy wigs, making life a little easier for the ladies. Sometimes it's so easy to, put on a wig and go, especially if you want to give your natural hair a rest, or if you're in a hurry, or if you want a different look. We're going to share all of that with you coming up in just a little bit. So Michaela Springer of Easy Wigs, she's going to be in, and she's brought some models along, and they're going to be sharing some great styles for us, particularly as we're going to crop over, you know. These things are accessories these days. So a new outfit, a new wig, they all go together. The guys don't understand sometimes. We'll teach you all about that. That's coming up. Plus, we're talking spirituality and its impact on the workplace. A very interesting topic. So that is coming up a little later this morning. We certainly hope you can stand by for that conversation and weigh in as well. I know when it comes to spirituality, a lot of people have very, very strong views. So we'll see the impact, and there have been some changes as well to the way that it's looked at. So we will delve into that too. Also coming up on today's show, it's May. It's Child Month. And you'd recognize if you start very early with us in the morning, usually around this time we have young people and children doing our early morning devotions to get the station started. And today we're going to be speaking with some members of the Child Care Board here in Barbados about foster care. We're also going to have a foster parent coming through to share her experiences with us as well. So something to consider, helping a child as you move through life. But we want to start with by welcoming Cornelius Bartlett back to Morning Barbados. And he's been with us on a number of occasions in this segment that we've called Family Matters. This time around, we're looking at narcissism and parental alienation. We looked at it before, but this is the second installment in this part of the series. So good morning to you, Cornelius. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, and certainly great being here.
All right. Hope you had a good weekend.
Excellent weekend.
All right, that's
Excellent.
good stuff. So initially we started talking about narcissism and political parental alienation. So let's start by going over the basics of it. First of all, to your mind, how the two tie together.
Okay, well, first of all, good morning again, everybody. Parental alienation and narcissism are tied in ways that are only now being realized. I would have mentioned Dr. Richard Gardner, a child psychologist who came up or coined the term parental alienation. But you would appreciate that man has not really changed in principle. But what is happening, the world of psychology is now pulling together various symptoms or various behaviors, and they are giving it terms. So the idea of narcissism, which again is a word that I'm very cautious about because a lot of people are calling you narcissist nowadays if they don't like you or whatever. But narcissism is for sure a combination, it's a personality disorder which is made up of particular behaviors that are observed in much greater amounts than other human beings. So a narcissist tends to be a person who is self-absorbed with worship of themselves and others worshiping them. And that's on the front end. They lack empathy. But the psychologists who are the ones that delve deep into it, they recognize that the reason these symptoms are manifested are because when you go deep below the surface, the opposite is occurring. Below the surface of a narcissist is very often extremely bad treatment in childhood, fear of abandonment, shame, resentment, anger. And those symptoms within the human being creates very often what we term today as a narcissist. So very often, and I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I follow the research. I've been actually researching these topics for a couple of years because I am interested, as you would know, in family and people. But by and large, that particular behavior is seen in a particular set of people. So then when we fast forward now to parental alienation, and you see how some children who once had a great relationship with a parent during a marriage, when the marriage comes to an end, you find very often that those children who you would go to the beach with and have fun, go out to dinners, go on great vacations, when the marriage dynamic ends, the parent who gets main custody of the child, you will see some of them, and I'm not saying all, some of them will use those children as pawns to reject the other parent. And for a parent who's interested, I mean, there are some fathers and mothers, but mostly fathers, you will find out there, some of them are what you call deadbeat. They're not interested, so they cannot be parentally alienated. You find that the alienation normally is leveled at fathers, because most times mothers get it, but sometimes you have mothers that are alienated when the fathers get the children as well. But by and large, I would say probably about maybe 80 to 90% of the cases, it's the mothers who put the children into this, I call it script of parental alienation. And the alienation is very painful for the parent on the other end, because imagine you have a child and you, for 9, 10 years, you had a wonderful, close, very enriched relationship with your child. A divorce ensues, and then within a matter of months or a few years, that child wants nothing to do with you. The real danger though, and I want us to probably pick up from here, the real danger in parental alienation is not the actual parent who is being alienated. Yes, that's hard, it's wrong, but you're talking about an adult. But the real danger in parental alienation is the dysfunction and the dysregulation and the ill health mentally that it creates for the child. Children, there's people who study psychology would know about this thing called the attachment theory. There are particular ways that human beings, from the time they're born, attach to parents. And what this dynamic called parental alienation does is it disrupts the natural attachment style that a child would have to a parent. I've said a mouthful, so I'm going to pause there and come up for air.
All right, well, most certainly we're not saying that this is always the case when these things happen, because there are instances where parents might split, and for whatever reason, children pull back as well. So in what circumstances do you think that, that you have these extreme conditions, or rather, how do you recognize that it is a case of narcissism or what you're calling a linked parental alienation, as opposed to the parent who is not the everyday parent or the parent they're living with, making a move to be able to help the child if they indeed need assistance, where they might feel that abandonment, where they might feel like the other parent has moved on for whatever reason, and the child might be the one who is pulling away.
Okay, that's about 3 or 4 questions in one. So let me start.
No, well, let me give you
let
one
me start
question.
with the one.
No, well, let me give you one question then. How do you differentiate whether it is the child pulling away and therefore that child would need help, as opposed to it being a case of narcissism?
Okay. First of all, let me just say, before I answer that question directly, let me just say that, and for persons who are listening, when you're married and you have children, there are 2 dynamics that's happening at the same time. You have the marriage dynamic and you have the parental dynamic, okay? Now, when the marriage ends, there's absolutely no reason for the parental dynamic to end. So what happens in the case of parental alienation is that one parent who very often, as I said, very often, is a narcissist who gets custody of that child, sets about getting their narcissistic supply by creating in the mind of that child, through a very crafty, subliminal, spiritual brainwashing of that child, into believing that the other parent do not love them. The other parent is a villain. Now, we can't go into all the details of how it happened, because that's a lot of deep psychology.
Yeah, but that is one side of it, Cornelius.
But I'm going to answer the question.
What I'm saying is that can occur too. As I understand it, we're talking about what are the possibilities are. But there are instances where children, based on the fact that they've grown up in this dynamic that you talked about, so they're accustomed to these 2 parents together, and all of a sudden, all this little person knows is one person has moved away and left me. So where it might not be a situation where the parent that is left is indeed a narcissist, how do you determine this is the case?
Okay.
And move to a place then where you're able to help this child who might be feeling abandonment because they feel like this parent has left me, as opposed to the parent who's left being considered a narcissist.
Okay, well, let me drill down then to get to because I was going to get to it. It's just that I wanted to put the foundation on it first.
Sure.
Now, there is a big difference between parental alienation and estrangement. When a parent, after a marriage, the parent on the outside, which is the example you're bringing, moves on with life and does not look back at the child.
My example was not estrangement. My example was the child feeling, feeling estranged or feeling
right.
left behind.
I was going to get to that.
Because the parent has, so I'm not giving the instance of the parent you gave initially, a parent who wants nothing to do with their child after they've moved on. I'm talking about a parent who might still be interested, but for some reason the child feels as though, okay, because the dynamic now has changed.
Right.
The parent is now not in the household, and even though they're attempting to have a relationship with them, this feeling might emanate from the child, him or herself, as opposed to a parent giving them, bad insight about the parent who has left the home.
Right.
How do you differentiate the two?
Right, and it's pretty easy to differentiate the two. A parent who is interested, who is on the outside. Initially, when a divorce happens, children go through all sorts of insecurity, so that's quite normal. But what happens is, over time, you find that the child starts to settle as long as the parent who has custody is encouraging the child and is not using their advantage to actually brainwash the child with a lot of negativity, a lot of playing victim, right? Because there's some couples out there that have divorced, and I admire the way how they're what we call co-parent. So usually the child that feels that way at first, if the other parent is interested, it settles away. That's observation. That has been seen, that's known. This issue of parental alienation, we don't want it to get confused or get under the issue of a child who initially in the first couple of weeks or months starts to feel like, it's my fault. Because a lot of times children feel that feeling, it's my fault that my parents divorced, I wasn't a good enough child. But then that fear is allayed very shortly after, because usually parents that are interested in empowering the child and having the child well adjusted and showing the child love from both sides, it normally settles. And then through conversations, the child gets to realize, what, my daddy who is no longer living with us still loves me. My mommy who is no longer living with us still loves me. But the psychologists, and I keep referring to them because I'm not one, I've seen all the, well, not all, but a lot of the research. There's some very great research being done by a psychologist called Dr. Craig Childless, and he has done some really great work out there in Phoenix. He's a child psychologist, and one of the things that he is realizing in his research, others as well, is that what you notice that when, and he makes the point that counselors and psychologists and guidance counselors and therapists, they need to get trained in this area, because it's an area that very often involves court. And the judges aren't psychologists, the magistrates aren't psychologists, the lawyers aren't psychologists, the police aren't psychologists. So you need those social care workers and those persons involved in psychology to become trained up. If you call a psychologist here right now to discuss this topic, some of them will be challenged because the research on it is still ongoing, the research on it is new. But what is happening is that you're going to find that in parental alienation, there are very distinct features. When you hear a child, for example, says, I do not want anything to do with my father, that's abnormal. And he says that that should send off bells in your head if you're a psychologist or therapist. He says that normally, in fact, they've done research that shows that even when a child is sexually or physically abused, not this, they still do not have this tendency to totally want to abandon the parent. So he is saying that whenever you hear a child that wants to have absolutely nothing to do with a parent, that should send off bells in your head to start investigating parental alienation. Also bear in mind that the narcissist, because by virtue of what narcissism is, the narcissist parent comes over as very charming, probably a churchgoer, everybody loves them, they're beautiful officer man, very handsome, they may be very prominent in society. And this is, don't forget, window dressing really fools us a lot of the times. And I do sympathize with people who are not trained in the psychology of all of this. But the truth of the matter is that it is difficult and impossible to determine what a narcissist looks like, because narcissism, by virtue of what it is, it comes with a certain personality type. So this issue of parental alienation is one that we're going to have to start to peel off the layers to discover it, but it is going to, I would make an appeal to a lot of the authorities, law enforcement, judiciary, the social care services, to really come up to scratch on this issue, because yes, it is hard for the parents on the other end who are going through it. But the one that I am really concerned about, and I'm passionate about this, is the damage that it is doing to our children and by extension, our next generation. Research also shows that a lot of the children who are victims of parental alienation, where there's a narcissist parent conducting this ploy, those children themselves go on very often to become narcissists as well. It is almost like the actual behavior produces it or reproduces itself in the children of these particular types of families.
All right, tell you what, we're going to take a break and come back and have more discussion on this. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers.
Good morning. Welcome back. Good to have you on this Monday. I know it is with Mondays sometimes, but we have lots going on. Of course, the little ones are getting ready for the 11 plus exam. There can be a lot of stress surrounding that. So, you know, not too much pressure for them. I know the older ones are preparing, and some of them are already doing the CSEC exams as well. So be mindful of that. And I want to say a special good morning to those of you who are on study leave. Remember, it's for studying. All right? I once saw one little fella who told me yesterday he's bored and needs some activities. You're home because you're supposed to study, right? All right, so make sure you're getting that study in. So Cornelius Bartlett is still with us today, and he's a family advocate and founder, chairman of Family Fest Barbados. And we're taking a look at narcissism and parental alienation. We're taking another bite at it, so to speak, and looking at, you know, some of the warning signs, how you can identify if that might be happening. So let's delve back in, Cornelius. You know, what's the hope for reconciliation when you think about if it is a case of a parent being narcissist and keeping the child or children away from the parent who is now away from the home, or who would be seen as the absent parent, for the lack of a better phrase. You know, what's the hope of reconciliation?
Okay, there is hope, but let me just say that it's extremely complicated, all right? Because let's go back to when a divorce happens, and let's come forward and see what happens to the child. So you have a divorce, and then you have the child, the court awarding visitation or access rights to the parent on the outside. Now, the challenge that you have with a parent who may be a narcissist, who do not believe that the parental dynamic should continue because the marriage dynamic has ended, you're going to find that even though the court has awarded that person visitation rights, it is going to be very difficult for that parent who is the target of parental alienation to access their rights, simply because And if you look at it, imagine the child is now convinced that the other parent, who they once had a beautiful relationship with, is a villain. Or the child gets into the whole issue of having to pacify the parent when they go back home. So in other words, you go to be with dad, you had a fantastic time, you had a blast for the weekend or for the week, but when you go back home, you're questioned. And any positive results you give creates a whole bonfire, as we call it, in the mind or the behavior of that parent. Now human beings learn very quickly how to survive. So you find that those children, apart from the subliminal negative messages, the spinning of events and recreating them in the mind of the child starts to feel a discomfort. So to become comfortable, you cannot report that you had a good time with dad or with mom, whoever is the alienating parent. Now, bear in mind that that's not natural for a child not to have a good relationship with both parents. So you find that that child, for example, over time, they're under stress. In the terms of the court, because the child is aligning themselves with the alienating parent, you're going to find that it is going to be difficult for that parent who have visitation or access rights to get the access, because here is you have a child that say, I don't want to go with mom, or I don't want to go with dad. So you've been awarded the rights to have access to your child. But this thing called parental alienation, this demon called parental alienation, is behind the scenes undermining the rights that you've been given. Now, that is on the legal side and that's on the practical side. Let's go now at the psychological side. That child is actually experiencing, and I'm going to be very deliberate in this term because this term is accepted in psychology as the result of parental alienation. That child is experiencing a psychological form of child abuse. Yes, that child is actually considered as being abused. So for the authorities, for example, who is buying the narrative because they're not skilled in recognizing it, that the alienating parent is a victim, who convinced the child of the now ex-marriage that they're also a victim, you get that child responding out of what it has been brainwashed with. And the result of it is not that the child is peaceful. The child on the inside develops a whole set of turmoil and dysregulation within their internal psyche. And what does it do? It goes on to have implications for that child going on drugs, for example, that child displaying aggressive or anger tendencies, that child going on to have issues in their own relationships when they start to look towards getting married and stuff like that. That child suffers from guilt. Those children suffer from a lot of emotional and mental disorders as a result of it. So the hope for it, really and truthfully, is in a variety of things. So if you're the parent that's being alienated, and this is the advice that I gave last time, I'll give it again. Do not get into any contention or any fights with the narcissist parent that you're dealing with who has custody of the child. It's better to give up your rights sometimes, if not all the time, to make sure that you can have a peaceful relationship with that child. Because what the parent does, right, and we need to understand how manipulative and how strategic this thing called narcissism operates. So for example, a normal part of parenting is that if your child does an infraction, you might punish the child with, let's say, a ban, or taking away, let's say, a tablet or whatever it is, right? In the dynamic called parental alienation, something like that would be a normal part of parenting. The alienating parent uses that against you. So it means that now you have to now adjust what your normal parenting style would be, because you don't want to actually fall in the trap, because it is like walking on a minefield in these dynamics. So one time you would have punished the child by taking away the tablet, and because you are now cautious not to validate the lies that are being told, you have to actually give up sometimes the kind of techniques you use as a parent that you would use normally on a normal day. It is an extremely dark, dangerous. I wish that people that are listening to me could go online and read up and research it. It's an extremely dark dynamic, this thing called parental alienation.
Outside of going online and doing your own research, because some people don't know exactly where to go. Mm-hmm. And that's why for discussions like these, I prefer to have professionals who can weigh in as well. Mm-hmm. Because there's something you said as well that I don't necessarily agree with, where you said that sometimes it's better to give up your parental rights. And I don't think there's any instance where a parent who has been alienated by another parent, for example, who's exhibiting narcissistic tendencies, should by any means give up their right to their child.
Sorry.
Because I feel as though that's something then that children don't understand, where parents who may have to fight to be able to see them, it's not right. But I feel as though they should be willing to continue that fight to make sure that they can try to share their side with the child.
Tisha, you totally misunderstood me, because I am by no means, and I'm very, very clear about this, telling a parent that they should give up their right to their child. Quite the opposite. What I was talking about, giving it your right to things like the kind of punishments that you instill, because bear in mind that you are now in a very complex dynamic where you don't want to actually lean into validating the lies that the other parent is pushing on you. So I was talking about, for example, if you know that normally you would take away a tablet, you might have to give it your right to take away that tablet. And you may have to probably resort to a nice conversation, almost, because the idea is that if you as the alienated parent recognize what is happening, you have to be wise. Because remember, you want to win the battle instead of trying to win the wars. The problem is with a lot of men and women, and I know women are accused of being emotional, but men are extremely emotional. Men get angry. There are men out there, for example, who refuse to support their children. And you very often, if you look at it, now that we're discussing this topic and you look at it, a lot of these men are sometimes decent men, but they are allowing their emotions to take the best of them because they are now a target of alienation, or it could be a target of alienation. And their response is, you know what? If I cannot get my child, or my child is being brainwashed by my ex-wife, I'm not giving any money. This is the reality. We can stay here and we can talk as cute as we want about this is what should happen and that is what should happen. But on the ground, in reality, what is happening is that these dynamics that are observed by the psychologists are real. The dynamics of what is happening to children are real. The dynamics of how parents are targeting other parents in this ploy we call parental alienation is also real. And we need to accept that these things are real and look to see how we're going to deal with it. Now,
That's right. So here we are. How do we deal with it?
How do we deal with it is that the authorities need to become more educated, first of all. So in other words, we need to have those child care workers, and you said the child care board is coming in. Maybe those officers there need to become the welfare department, the social workers, the psychologists, because as I said, because you're a psychologist doesn't mean that you're very well versed on this topic. You have to do refreshers. So we need to have the authorities becoming more knowledgeable, one. Two, we need to have counselors where divorce is now ensuing to counsel persons who are on the outside that you have to be cautious to look out for these dynamics. If it happens, because you cannot, narcissism is not something you can cure by a pill. There's no narcissistic pill that you can take to cure narcissism. It's a reality. So if you have a narcissistic mother or father who has custody of a child, you have to learn how to navigate it. And how do you navigate it? You do not want to get into fights. You do not want to get into wars. You want to be very wise, and you want to navigate that particular personality type very carefully.
Yeah, I find these days, like you mentioned in the beginning, that term is being bandied about a great deal.
Too much.
So I think it's important for people to be able to recognize the parameters within which you can recognize narcissistic behavior. Because what I also know through research is people can exhibit traits of narcissism without being completely a narcissist.
I think we all have it. I think we all have
across the board.
I think we all have certain traits that are narcissistic, but we are not narcissists because it's not an extreme. So I mean, narcissistic traits are not unusual traits to humanity. It's just that with the narcissists, they have it, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, most people have level 1, 2. They have like level 9 and 10. That's all it is. But let me just say this as well. As you were speaking, it just came to my mind. You don't want to get into calling a narcissistic parent a narcissist. In other words, it is information that you know because it helps you to define within your own mind how to navigate. But you don't want to tell your ex-wife or your ex-husband, you're a narcissist. That's foolish. It is foolish and unwise. What you want to do is that when you recognize these traits, let the recognition of these traits inform the wisdom with which you will operate. Because you want peace. You want to make sure that your child is the focus and not yourself.
I think we're, because you're speaking strictly based on what you said within the context of divorce or parents separating and things like that. And I think it's important for parents or for people who want to co-parent in a way, they have to get to the place where they care more about their children than they care about whatever hate they might be carrying for whatever relationship they've lost. So for parents, I think the advice really should be for them to work on, you know, their relationship as well. And this, as you mentioned before, definitely would call for some type of mediator being a part of what is done, particularly if it's very acrimonious. If, you know, there's a lot of back and forth and cussing and fighting in front of the children or otherwise, because people feel like children don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but they absolutely do. So I feel like adults might need to, and obviously I'm speaking from a personal perspective with no real training in sociology or psychology from that perspective, but just, you know, as an adult woman, I feel as though parents a lot of the times need to work on their respect and relationship for each other as co-parents.
Well, if anyone decides to go and study narcissism, the statement you are saying is very altruistic, and it would be great if it could happen. It would be great if it could happen. But let me say this very clearly and categorically. With a narcissist parent, there is no thinking about my child. Bear in mind that narcissism, by virtue of what it is, it's about self. And using anything or anyone to give me the supply that I want. So the child is actually, when you look at a narcissist parent, it looks as though they are parenting very well. It looks as though the child is bonded to them. But the psychologist said it's actually a very unhealthy bonding. It's a bonding that is based on rejecting the other parent. It's a bonding that is based on satisfying the emotions of that parent, not the child. Understand this very clearly. With this disorder, this personality disorder called narcissism, there is no peaceful resolution that involves the narcissist seeing themselves as at fault anyway. There is no, I'm going to think about my child first. There's no, this is not fair to my ex-husband or ex-wife. There's none of that. And I know that in a normal, logical world, if you're listening to me now, and even you here sitting down listening to me, you're thinking, but that's not fair. But this is not in the zone of logic. This is heavily in the zone of psychology and the spirit and spiritual. Narcissism, I would say, and I don't want to say it, but it is almost like demonic. It is something that possesses, and the narcissist never get help. Because a narcissist is not going to go to a psychologist and say, I think that there's something wrong with me. I think I need you I need some therapy. They're not going to do it. They're the ones that are very eloquent. A lot of them are very intelligent human beings. They're very popular. They're the president of this. They're politicians. They could be anybody, anywhere. It could be a priest. It could be anybody. Because bear in mind that when we are children, we don't choose the households in which we are born. And we very often end up going through a lot of trauma. We have children that go through a lot of trauma. And the part that I'm very fearful of as a family advocate is that you never know how that trauma in childhood is going to play out as adults. There are a lot of people who are getting married next week, the week after, and they're marrying someone that will cause them extreme pain, but they have no way of knowing. And that's why you see that I continue to do this work through Family Fest, where we try to promote the value of strong families. And I preached yesterday at an Anglican church where I was dealing with the issue of the harvest of the families. And I made, one of the points that I made very, very clear is that we need to do right and do better by our children. All of the vices that we see today in society speaks to the last generation's mistakes. We as a society, we like to commentate too much on symptoms. So we have gang violence, we have domestic abuse, we have divorce rates, we have children that are going on drugs. And the mistake as a society we're making is that we're approaching these problems from the symptom and not from the real root problem.
All right, Cornelius, we want to thank you for coming in and sharing lots to think about. And of course, not necessarily popular opinion, in that sometimes people don't want to hear these very serious topics.
But very true.
Because it calls for a great deal of sometimes introspection and realization of what might be happening. Again, you are with Family Fest Barbados. You can find you on Facebook.
That's right.
And you're moving around and sharing as well. So, thanks for coming in and sharing your views on narcissism and parental alienation with us today.
Before you go, just want to remind listeners that Family Fest month comes off in July. And we are actually looking at this topic, family narcissism and parental alienation, for during the entire month. So you're going to get a whole set of panel discussions. The first week, we're going to deal with the men, second week, women, third week, children, and the fourth week, the entire family. That's the format for Family Fest annually for our month of celebrations.
Is it Family Fest Barbados
that's
on
right.
Facebook?
Family Fest Barbados.
All right, so that's where you can find more information. Family Fest Barbados. Look them up online to find out more. All right, so again, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you in future programs and hearing more about Family Fest and the work you're doing to rebuild and strengthen families all across Barbados.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. All right, time for another break. When we come back, we have loads planned for you, so don't you move.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get her? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why? I need.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated?
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So good morning to you and welcome back. Just about 2 minutes to go before 7 o'clock. Ooh, the hair is here. You know, that's my thing. If you didn't know, now you do. So help me welcome Michaela Springer of Easy Wigs. Ashley is our first model who's joining us. Good morning to you, Michaela.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Nice seeing you as
I
well.
patronize your business. I don't have to tell you that, but I'm sharing with the viewers. I'm the type of girl. I love hair as an accessory. Some people don't understand that. I meet a lot of people who tell me, why don't you wear natural hair? But the thing about it is, what people don't understand is this can help you to get your natural hair in a wonderful place. It's certainly if you're having challenges or, you know, if you're pressed for time or if you just want a different look. So today you brought your looks for us. Tell us a bit about what you offer at Easy Wigs before we get into making Ashley look like the superstar she is.
Yes. So basically, Easy Wigs is a company that provides convenient hair solutions to women. So we have curated a collection of hair products that are 100% beginner friendly, they're glueless, and you could apply right at home without any experience. So it takes away from the time that you would spend at the salon. So it's perfect for persons that have a tight schedule, perfect for persons that have, you know, like natural hair and are looking for a protective style, as you said. It helps you to not do too much with your natural hair, but you get that protective style wearing the wigs or the ponytails or even the clip-ins. So
absolutely. So a lot of people really don't know that because I had my hair in a natural state for a very long time and I would just do a blowout and go with an easy wig.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about the styles that we have here today.
Okay, so firstly we have Dion. All of the wigs have names. So we
they're
have
like friends.
Yes.
Hey Dion.
Dion, this one is called Sarah, and then we have Monica. So we have so many different varieties of wigs available in store. So if you're looking for a pixie cut, you're looking for a bob, you're looking for something long, we have it available in store.
All right, what are we gonna go with? I know there's a wig called Ashley too, but this is our Ashley today. The wig Ashley is not here today. So we're gonna pair Ashley with Sarah.
Yeah, well, let's start with Sarah. Sarah is a bob. So as you guys can see.
First of all, you have, what's that, a wig cap on?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Do you need a particular color? How should you install it before you put this wig on?
So basically, you're going to start with a skin tone wig cap. And this is just so that when you apply the wig, it looks very realistic.
Got you.
Yeah. So if you have short hair as well, what you could do, you could get one of these wig grips. And this is going to allow the wig to stay on your head without slipping.
Yeah, because people might be nervous about that.
Exactly.
All right, so you put that on.
And then you're just gonna start putting on the wig. All of the wigs come with combs and an adjustable elastic band in the back. So once the wig is applied, it's not going anywhere. And just like that, you have a style in a matter of seconds, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look
So
at
this is
bob.
Sarah. Cute. Yeah.
And that one is.
So just give us a little
done.
pause,
That's
Ashley.
simple.
Yes.
Wow. All right. So the wig grip, the grip that you put around. I know you said that there's an adjustable band. For some wigs, they're like side combs, what we would call side combs.
Yeah.
Are they included in all wigs?
Yes.
So
In all
does
of our wigs.
Okay. So does that go under the band that you put on?
Yes.
Okay.
So the band is really for persons that have like short hair. So if you are even no hair, because it's gonna allow the wig to have something to grip
Hold on to.
Yes. So there's people that don't have any hair or short edges that may not be able to utilize the combs. So when you put on that band, you could actually stick the combs underneath that
That's
that
what it's
grip.
for.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. Okay. Let's see the versatility now as we move from Sarah.
Sarah.
To another girlfriend of ours.
Yes. So Sarah is our bob, and all of the wigs that we'll be showing today, they come in different colors as well.
Okay.
So let's try something longer. This is Dion. And Dion is at to wear her in the middle, like how I have it applied here. But then you could also shift her to the side. So if you're not a person that likes middle parts and you prefer a side, yes, you could wear her to the
So
side.
it really just takes a little playing with, and I know this from wearing wigs myself. I know that it takes, you know, a little getting accustomed to, getting the feel for it. But, you know, whatever works for you. And I love that this one is versatile enough that you can wear it in the center or off to the side.
Yes.
Because, depending on what your preferences are.
Exactly, because there's some people that do prefer the side part over the middle part.
Listen, now I saw a different attitude, a different glow coming from Ashley when she got this longer hair. So I can tell that right now she's not necessarily feeling the bob, but she's loving a longer look. We're going to go back to a pixie cut.
Yes.
For the next look for this one. So
Yeah.
there you go. And please take note of the fact that this is the second wig that she has put on and taken off, and the grip is still in place, which says a great deal about how it does its work to be able to keep the wig in place.
Yes. So for those persons that prefer, you know, shorter hair, you know, outside may be hot, you don't like a lot of hair in your neck, then a pixie cut is perfect for you.
And it's so chic. I mean, pixie cuts are just, you know, very, very chic.
Yes.
I
And
think,
this
Ashley,
one,
this is my favorite on you.
this one is Wambi Burgundy, so it has a bit of black and burgundy in it.
So it's mixed already.
Yes.
And it's all done.
Yes, and this is 100% human hair as well.
So this is Monica.
Yes.
Hey, Monica. Good stuff. You know, can you have the wigs customized when they come into Easy Wigs? Because, or do you get the wig and then you have to take it to your own person to have it installed?
Well, right now we don't offer that service, but when you do come into the store, you could fit all of these styles because we have fitting rooms available. So you'll get to see beforehand, before you purchase, what the wig is looking like.
All right.
Yes.
Good stuff. I'm loving it. And I mean, it's easy. And the truth of the matter is, I've been talking all morning about wigs as an accessory. I know for you, I follow you online, so I know from the very beginning, you've had your hair natural as well, and you blow dry it out, and then you put in the pieces or the wigs or what have you and go with it. And people wouldn't guess that. So
Yeah.
there are lots of ways that you can go about acquiring the look and feel that you want for whatever occasion. But we know that there are ladies also battling with challenges with their hair. So from alopecia all the way back, and these are great options for them. We usually associate wigs with, you know, our ladies going out to church. But now, you know, the younger women are outdoing you.
Yeah. The thing about it is we have a very large demographic. So we have younger persons, you know, in their 20s, all up until late 60s. And wigs right now are very current because, as you said, it offers like a protective style and the convenience as well. So the amount of wigs that we have different variety in store. For example, I'm wearing a wig. You may not look at this and think this is a wig, but we have very current and trendy pieces.
Right. So there are wigs that you can come in styles where you can leave some out, so you have an exposure, so it can blend into your natural hair and so on. All right, so we had a good time with Sarah, Monica,
and Dion.
Dion, trying with Ashley.
Yes.
So we're going to take a little break as we continue to tell you all about Easy Wigs, located conveniently at
the Sheraton and it's small.
Yeah, so at Sheraton Center, you don't have to worry about going too far, great parking, and you get to see this face every time you come in. She is very knowledgeable and she can help you. So tell you what, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have a few other styles to share with you to make sure that you look and feel your best if this is what suits you. So stay with us. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, welcome back. It's just about 10 minutes after 7 o'clock. Today we're talking wigs. I know there's Mother's Day coming up, and Mom might be heading out. You might be taking her out, or she might have wanted something. You know that you offer gift vouchers and all that wonderful stuff. So talk to us about the options.
Okay, so as Tisha said, we have Mother's Day coming up next week, I believe. So if you want to shop around for a wig for your mom, you could actually bring her in store. Or if you want to surprise her, we have gift vouchers available, and those are customizable gift vouchers. So you could come in and let us know the amount that you would like, and then we would write that up for you, and you could just surprise her with a gift voucher from Easy Wigs.
Absolutely, a new look for Mommy.
Yes.
A new look for Mommy. All right, here goes. Maureen has joined us now. And the beautiful Maureen and all these gorgeous colors this time of the morning. So we have some different wigs to share. I know for some people they're wondering, how do I take care of this? You have all the products in store to be able to take care of them, and really should take care of your wigs in much the same way that you take care of your own hair in terms of washing it and treating it and making sure it looks and feels the part.
Exactly. So we at Easy Wigs, we like to say we're a one-stop shop. We have the wigs, we have the accessories, and we have the products. So right here, this is called Keisha, and for her, anything curly is low maintenance. So for a style like this, you would just use some water, some mousse, or even some leave-in conditioner, and that's it. So very easy, very low maintenance. Just like the name suggests, Easy Wigs, all of our products are easy.
I thought you meant Keisha suggested, you know, low maintenance. Okay, I'm done with that. Okay, let's try this one on and see how it goes. And I must tell you, it feels very soft. I know there are different types of hair. So there's human hair. That's the type of hair you can bleach to get different colors and treat and so on. And then there's premium fiber. So talk to us about the different types of hair that you can get.
Okay, so with our human hair collection, as you said, you could bleach and dye the wigs in that collection to your preferred color. They're going to last a very long time with proper maintenance. And then our premium fiber collection, which is our more affordable collection, those are good quality as well. With those, you can't bleach or dye, but you could still apply heat. And they're very low maintenance for persons that are looking for something that they don't have to do much with in terms of curling and what's not. Premium fiber wigs actually hold the curl very well.
Maureen, this one looks so good on you. Listen, don't take it off. I'm kidding. And look, you just left a little peekaboo at the front.
Yes.
So you bring it as close to natural as possible. That's gorgeous, Maureen. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And it has a hint of color in it. Did it come this way, or, you know,
so the
obviously
thing
you
with
can bring the colors with it.
Yes, this one is human hair, and with human hair, it usually comes in this natural brown color. So that's why you would kind of see like hints of brown in it, because it's supposed to look as natural as possible.
All right, good stuff. What was her name again? Keisha?
Keisha.
Okay, let's say bye to Keisha and move on to
Lola.
Lola. How about that? All right, and this is human hair as well?
Yes, please.
It feels so nice and soft.
Yeah.
I love this one.
Yeah, this one is actually one of our best sellers. These two. I find the Bajan market really likes their curly hair.
It's low maintenance, like you said. You don't have to do a whole lot with it, especially when you want to break from taking care of your own hair.
Yes, and this one is super gorgeous.
All right. Anything suits you, Maureen. My goodness. Okay, I thought I loved Keisha. I like this one the best now. So I'm kind of moving. Yeah, but this feels really good. And again, you said this is human hair.
Yes.
So what people can do is they can go ahead and color this.
Yes.
If that's what they want. That's gorgeous. Or if you want to recess it a little and leave some hair out, that also is a possibility.
Yeah, so you have multiple ways that you could work this wig. You could leave out some of your hair, you could choose to not leave out any of your hair, and you could also pair it with a headband as well. So that is like three different styles and one wig.
3 different ways that you can go ahead and wear. I love it. I love where it hits you, Maureen, and everything, but obviously then if you want to have it customized, that is absolutely an option as well. But the whole thing about it, even the name of the company, Easy Wigs, suggests that you're going for quick and easy. And that's exactly what this says. Now, the first time that I saw how much braided wigs were in, again, was when I traveled. And, you know, we are accustomed to sitting down for hours on end and getting braids. You don't have to do that anymore. So let's say
goodbye to Lola. And let's apply Maya.
Let's say hi to Maya. How about that? Here we go. Maya is hanging on for dear life.
Maya.
Yeah, do you find that the braided wigs are far more popular these days?
Yes, because as you mentioned earlier, there's some people that have certain conditions like alopecia, and then we have some customers that may be going through like chemotherapy that are losing their hair. So they may not be able to get their hair braided. So I find that the braided wig comes in handy for those persons, as well as providing a convenient solution for persons that don't have the time to sit down for like 6 hours and get their hair braided.
Not the baby hair in the front.
Yes, this one has baby hair.
So it has some hair to add that natural look to the front as well. If you want to go for braids, how about that? And I will tell you, I'm standing here and looking at it directly, and all I can see is braids. It absolutely looks like her hair is fully braided. Amazing stuff. It's just amazing where braids and wigs and so on have gone throughout the years.
Yes, it definitely has
come a far
come a
cry
long
from
way.
what we used to see in the early days.
Yes. And just like that, you have a braided style in a matter of minutes.
I'd say seconds, because it literally took you just a few seconds to be able to put this wig on, with the only prep being putting on a wig cap.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And all of the wigs that we offer in store are 100% glueless. So that is really good because, again, it acts as a protective style. You don't have anything that's going to pull out your edges.
All right. And just like that, Maureen, you've totally confused me because I thought it was Keisha, then I thought it was our good friend here,
Lola, yeah.
Lola, and now, I don't know, this braided style is gorgeous. So whatever your needs, rest assured you can find it at Easy Wigs. They're at Sheraton Annex 1.
Yes, please.
That means, you have to give Bajans directions. When you come into Sheraton Mall, it's the annex on the left, across from Flo.
Across from the Olympus. So when you come in the Olympus area, if you're familiar with the pet store, we're actually upstairs the pet store. So all you need to do is come into the Olympus area, and then you look to your left, and then you'll just see our sign.
Let's talk opening hours.
So we open Monday to Saturday from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m.
All right, good time for you to be able to get in there and get what you need. And then, of course, you are very active online as well.
Yes, so you could follow us at Easy Wigs. That is EZWIGS on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Our social media pages are very unique, I would say, because we post a lot of tutorials. So not only can you come in store, browse, try our collection, but then when you get home and you're applying your wig at home, you could watch one of our tutorials and apply your wig with us.
Good stuff. Ashley, get back in here because she has selected her favorite of the three. And I think this is a really good choice. Come up here with us. I think this one is a really good choice for you. It's a really great look for you. So choose Easy Wigs. Give them a call. Go on in and see them. Or you can check them out online. And you could be looking good this Mother's Day. Or Mommy, it's a great option. I don't know. I might have to snatch this one from you before you go. Not literally. But definitely an option for you when it comes to choice for the hair. And I know this is, an area that a lot of people don't understand how much we go through when it comes to hair. This can make life so much easier.
Definitely.
For some wonderful woman in your life or for you. So when you go on into Easy Wigs, say, I saw you, Michaela. I saw you on Mornin Barbados. And I'm here for Keisha. All right. Thank you, ladies, for coming in. Looking gorgeous.
Thank you for having us.
Thoroughly confusing me as to what I want next. All right. So make Easy Wigs your choice. All right. We're going to take another break. When we
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get her? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
All right, welcome back to Morning Barbados. So time for a very interesting discussion as we jump into spirituality and its impact on the workplace. We have to say a very special good morning to, I think this is most guests that we've ever had on the set here on Morning Barbados. First up is Reverend Bernard Bean, who is the rector of the Holy Trinity Anglican Church. Good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us. Also here is Cecilia Neblit-Brathwaite, who is a theology graduate. We have Sulman Bubulia, who is the Muslim chaplain of the University of the West Indies, Cape Hill campus. And we also have Anthony Hall, who is president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church of Barbados and Dominica. So good to have all of you with us.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I'm going to start with you, Cecilia, to kind of set the pace for us. The Ministry of Labour, Social Security and Third Sector was assigned ecclesiastical portfolio as a part of the ministry's third sector. So let's talk about spirituality and religion, how that really ties into the workplace, first of all, making that link.
Well, good morning. Religion and spirituality is based on experiences of individuals. That's basically what it is. And I think it's important because it's a part of the workspace. You know, we are there 8 hours a day. And I think that understanding the framework that has been created and designed to set guidelines for how we operate is very important. That is why I think it's fitting to have persons with varying religious backgrounds come to speak to these issues.
All right, so Mr. Anthony Hall, as president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church of Barbados and Dominica, I think that you sit in a unique position of being able to maybe juxtapose what we see in one place or the other, or compare and contrast what happens in the two. So what role does spirituality have in the workplace from where you sit?
Well, thank you. Good morning, and thank you very much for having us today. Well, first of all, the whole concept of spirituality in the workplace relates to the idea that a human being is multidimensional and multifaceted. And since 2019 in Barbados, the Parliament has approved a wellness policy. It is captured in the context of health. And we know that health is not just physical. It has to do with a person's mindset, a person's mental health, financial health. There are 9 dimensions to this, and one of them has been identified as the need for spiritual awareness. And we think that by emphasizing the concept of spiritual awareness in the workplace, it presents a holistic approach to a human being so that that person is complete, that person is entire, and can give their best to their employer and to the customers who patronize those businesses or whatever they're doing. So we cannot leave out any dimension of a human being in terms of their compatibility and the wholeness of who a person really is. Therefore, spirituality in the workplace adds to the product that a person would produce on behalf of the employer and the business that they serve. It makes them a better person, produces better delivery, better customer service, and certainly will inure for the benefit of the business and the employer as well.
Now, Reverend Bean, we've seen spirituality, as mentioned here, really at the core of a lot of what we do, starting with a lot of the schools coming off of the churches, the Anglican Church specifically. So from that perspective, talk to us about the role that you think it plays now as compared to where it was maybe years ago.
Well, thank you. And again, good morning to Barbados and to you. Spirituality has always been a part of, as the president said, of who we are as a people. And as you know, the church and the school, the church was responsible for the school because there was a need. We saw the need for education and forming another part of who we are as people. And though there is a separation, the relationship still continues. Many of us are in the schools, in the Hilda Skiing School on a regular basis, talking and speaking to children, not only children, but also teachers, helping them to navigate life from a spiritual aspect and keeping them healthy, answering questions, especially when it comes to difficult topics like grief, when children lose loved ones, and they really can't answer those questions, and they're wrestling, blaming themselves. And it's good to have that person in there helping them to understand their faith in the midst of those difficult times. And so the presence of the church in the school is still there, as not as pronounced as it was before, obviously, but it's still very much there.
Mr. Bubulia, as you know, we've moved to a place now where we're hearing more about multi-denominational services across Barbados. But before, you know, there was just Christian, predominantly Christian services that we saw. So let's speak about the changes that we're seeing in terms of the inclusion, which I would imagine is something that you've been advocating for quite some time.
Absolutely, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. Yeah, you are seeing a Barbados that is changing, multi-faith in some aspects and no faith in some aspects, because the surveys are showing that people are even saying that we have no religion. So that's something that we are also dealing with as well. But in terms of the multi-faith space, that has been changing, and Barbados has always had that, because you've had, as you said, other denominations, you've also had other faiths in Barbados. And how do you navigate that within the workspace is going to be important. We live in a very increasing secular society, a society that's becoming a lot more material, moving away from that which is spiritual and faith-based into materialism and secularism. How do we navigate those journeys along with persons who have different faiths? And being in the workplace for over 30 years, I've seen it, and I've seen the changes coming about. So we now have to grapple with persons who come into the workspace with different thinkings, Some are very religious, some are not, some have no religious at all. How do we navigate that? And that's what we as employers and employees and entrepreneurs, we have to deal with that, because we have to deal with customers that have various backgrounds. And so it's important. This discussion is important. How do we bring faith back into our society in all aspects of it, not only the workplace, because it makes the individual better. The individual is a lot more solid. And as Pastor Hall mentioned, we talk about health and physical well-being and emotional and mental well-being, but we also have spiritual well-being. So that is going to be important for us to have a discussion on.
Before we delve into what we need to do to be able to reintegrate it into the workspace, do we have any idea of, or to what extent workplaces have now kind of moved away from that? I think it's important to assess where we are, particularly as we look across the world and see in other parts of the world, people are moving heavily to separate church and state. They're moving heavily not only in the workplace, but within the school environment as well. So must there now be an assessment, perhaps, of how employers feel about bringing spirituality into what's done?
I think there's need for assessment. I think there's need for research. I think there's need for education. And I think that there's need for open-mindedness. We have to look at language, the way we speak to people, the way we speak about different faiths. We have to look at time for worship. We have to look at preparing our lunches for our seminars, being inclusive of the fact that some religions may cater to have a specific palate, might want different foods. We have to make sure that when we are looking at all of these, we target each and every person, recognizing their individualities and their religious rights as well. So we don't have we have to make sure that these things are taken on board when we're looking at creating our framework and our policies to make sure that every person is included. We want to be inclusive in our approach to spirituality and religion.
And immediately what came to mind when you talked about even preparing lunches, or if there are functions, the Adventist came to mind for me, because I know you're very specific in what you take, and you know you have a strong drive in the church for advocating for eating certain things or not. Mm-hmm. So what has the experience been like for your congregation across Barbados and Dominica in terms of how they are catered to? Literally and figuratively.
Well, thank you for the question. First of all, let me address the disconnect that you spoke about initially between religious acceptance in the workspace or in the public space of any kind. There has been the notion that if you take religion seriously, people do not take you seriously. And the reality is that this current Minister of Labor has been engaging religious persons within the space in Barbados, and we've had many discussions about the importance of acknowledging that faith is critical in the makeup of a person, as I said before, and therefore tolerance, acceptance and tolerance, words like those become key to understand that we can all coexist peacefully without being religious ourselves. We can just simply accept that somebody practices, somebody has a belief system. And in a workspace, we cater for that, not for people to proselytize or to preach or to teach their religion, but certainly to be able to manifest, to practice. So if a person prays, they should be able to pray for the meal, when they're having their lunches or whatever the case may be, without censure. And what we're encouraging here is that the employer provides for that. Take, for example, our Muslim brethren who have rigorous prayer regimes, various times of the day associated with feast and fast and so on. Can a place be provided in a workspace where it can be used by anybody at lunchtime during their breaks, not during work time, but during their breaks, to go there and have a moment of reflection, meditation, prayer. And therefore, yes, when you are having your social gatherings, be mindful that there are different people who either eat or don't eat. The presence of alcohol or non-alcoholic drinks would be something, an option that you can provide for those who do not partake in that way. So it's about tolerance, it's about acceptance and inclusiveness. And it's not about taking over the workspace with religion, but just acknowledging that this is a part of people's lives.
And to double up on that, I know for you, particularly Adventists, who are very specific about acknowledging your Sabbath and not working past certain times or on a particular day.
Yes.
I know for some that has been a challenge in the past.
Oh, tremendous, tremendous. I've had to write letters to employers. And what I didn't tell you before, I'm also an attorney at law. So I write it sometimes on the church stationery and sometimes on other stationery to ensure, and there's a Shops Act in Barbados that actually provides that an employer cannot insist or should not insist that a person works on a day that they observe as a religious day. Sometimes employers are very cooperative. Sometimes we have to, argue the point a bit, have a discussion and so on. But we get by in that regard.
Solomon, I saw you nodding in agreement.
Yeah, I mean, Pastor Hall made some very important points, and it is recognizing those within your workspace and what they observe as their religious practices. And I think it goes a lot beyond tolerance, because tolerance seems to be, I tolerate you, but because I have no choice to. It goes beyond that. It goes coexisting. How do we coexist together as a human race, as humanity, understanding that there are differences, there's diversity, but how do we work together in one common goal? And I think that is what the message that we need to get out to Barbadians, that we live together, we work together, because oftentimes we get a pushback. We get a pushback to say, oh, well, this is a certain society, this is a certain religious society, maybe as a Christian society, you should not be, or as a certain type of Christianity, or as a certain type of religion. And sometimes we get that pushback. So we want to be able to have the conversation where we go beyond just tolerating the other individual. In terms of food, we share similar experiences as the 7 Day. Our diets are very much the same. We don't have alcohol, we don't eat anything from the pig. And so we have to navigate that as well. And our foods have to be specially prepared, like especially our meats. There's halal and so on. The prayer, again, he mentioned that, and I've had experience in my workplace with a young lady who came on. She's Muslim. She wants to pray at certain times, so she would do it during her lunch hour. But the space, where can she do that? Creating that space. We have had incidences with 7 Day Adventist workers. They tell you, I can't work on Saturdays. Our place opens on Saturdays, so we have to then accommodate for that. And so that's legislation is there, but employees have to understand that as well, that you give them that freedom to do so.
Reverend Bean, from your perspective, the Anglican Church, your thoughts on what we're discussing.
I hear my brother speaking about the word tolerance, and we must go beyond tolerance and move to accepting and understanding that spirituality is not against the workspace. As a matter of fact, I like to say that God is a God of work. He spent 6 days working. Then he rested. And we are created in his image. Therefore, there is an innate part of us, in my belief, in our DNA to work. And so it's not that spirituality is against the workplace. And I think we need to get to that point where we understand that actually it's the opposite. And it can help the workspace tremendously. Because if we understand that working is in our DNA as spiritual beings, because we created an image of God, therefore we see our work with integrity. We want to work and keep at a certain standard because this is who we are. Not only that, but even as employers, if we understand that, understand the dignity to work as well from the spiritual standpoint, then we also treat our employees with a certain standard and a certain dignity, because there must be a dignity to work and work in the workplace. And so I think that we need to begin to see spirituality not as an opposing force, but rather working towards that common goal.
Cecilia, how do we move to a place where we come back to that level of respectability across the board? Move past just tolerance and accept that there are other people with different views and we should respect that. What needs to happen?
Well, I think that education is a must. Recognizing that with education there's change, there's behavior change, and it is something that can't be done by one forum like this. There should be national events. There should be communication with the human resources. For example, we have the Employment Rights Act 2012-19 that speaks of discrimination. So these are all things that we must bear in mind when we're looking at changing the minds of our citizens, opening up the areas so that we can have these discussions freely so that persons can be more comfortable understanding our mandate and where our guidelines are at when it comes to inclusiveness, when it comes to educating teachers so that persons can learn from the reception level about this so that as we grow older it's not that rigid, it's not that difficult to change. So these are things that we are looking at and bringing about this change and educating the public on the importance of having this in our workspace.
Suleiman, to your mind, what can spirituality, what can religion do for people? We've been seeing so much more in our communities, people who are seemingly in despair. We've been seeing so much more suicide, incidences of suicide and things of that nature. There's a lot of violence going on, for example. To your mind, what can religion, what can spirituality do to kind of arrest these things?
Faith in the Almighty gives you that anchor in times of despair and times of joy. It gives you that ability to navigate life with all that comes with it. And when we talk about religion, I'm talking about the practical aspects of religion. I'm talking about faith, that inner spirituality that gives you a reliance that there is an almighty God, there's a creator, there's someone who sustains the world, and you go back to that as an anchor, as a way of navigating life. And I think that's what faith and spirituality in all faiths gives to the human being. And unfortunately, we have lost that in this secularizing world.
Reverend Bean.
I couldn't agree more. Because sometimes we have some foundations that are moved away from God, and when those foundations are shaken, we're still searching for something greater, and that brings us back to God, our faith. Sometimes some people find faith in God during those times of crisis. I also believe that, you're talking about society, that faith, spirituality has a way of changing behavior. Something I saw some 2-3 weeks ago in Chicago. There's an area called the O Block, and a lot of criminals and a lot of shooting and gang banging. And to hear these guys talking about they put their guns down. They're now walking a different path. And you ask, what caused this radical change in behavior? Some became Christian. Some became Muslim. And it was this faith that impacted and changed their worldview.
Guided them in another direction.
Totally different direction.
Absolutely. From you, finally.
I would want to say that, ordinarily speaking, there are many people who do not embrace the idea of faith as an important part of life. But when we have crisis in society, we are open to it then. Wouldn't it be better if we can just accept that there are these benefits, behavioral change benefits and others that come about as a result of people practicing the tenets of their faith? I think, therefore, that this is something we should embrace, even in the workplace, not to create confusion, but to produce a better service as a whole for businesses.
All right, I want to thank all of you for coming in. Anthony Hall, president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Barbados and Dominica. Of course, Suleiman Bubulia, we see you often, usually as, more or less one of those people who is very outspoken about your religion, but here today as the Muslim chaplain at UWI-Cayfield. We also have Reverend Bernard Bean, rector of Holy Trinity Anglican Church. Thank you, gentlemen, for making the time, as well as you, Cecilia Neblit-Brathwaite, a theology student, always bringing to us very thoughtful conversations. This is far more than food for thought.
Agreed.
So a great conversation starter, a great place for people to start thinking about how they move forward. Again, thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, time for another break on Morning Barbados. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why? My friend, you don't plan to get her? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning indeed. It's already 12 minutes before 8 o'clock. Sometimes I can't believe how quickly the time goes by. Good to have you with us. If you're heading out this morning, make sure you stay safe on the roads. Leave with enough time that you can make it without having to rush and stuff like that. But we really appreciate that you tuned in for Morning Barbados today. All right, so we told you it's Child Month, May, and we usually do lots with the Child Care Board around this time, and it's no different. So help me welcome Roxanne Sanderson, who is a Senior Child Care Officer with responsibility for adoption and foster care with the Child Care Board. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you.
Happy Child Month. Good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And she's brought along a few people to add to our rich discussion. Carol Ann Brown, who's a foster parent.
Yes, yes.
And Rajani Marshall, who is a student at UWI Cave Hill. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
So real world experience this morning. So good to have you with us. Now, when we think about foster care, that's not a term that we often use in Barbados, particularly when we're thinking about relatives maybe who look after their kinship or who look after their relatives. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about foster care and what sets it aside from other types of care.
Thank you for having us again, Tisha. Yes, foster care is important, and foster care is more or less where the child is put into a family setting. The UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, they're saying now that we need to move away from institutionalization to put a child into residential, so they're putting the resources behind that and put a child into a foster placement. So the child more or less is still monitored by the board, right? But that child is now in a family nurturing environment. And yes, as you said, we are pushing and encouraging basically where family members who have children in residential care to come forward and foster their relatives. we really would like that because it is better. The child is more settled in that environment. We see a difference between the child in foster placement as well as the child in residential care, right? So we are hoping that this child month we get more family members coming forward to what we call kingship foster placement and fostering their child.
2 questions quickly. When we talk about residential living, that's where the children are living in what Barbadians call the children's homes?
Right, correct.
All right. And then quickly, the types of foster care.
So my student here, Rajani, I would let Rajani also know.
So this is
come on.
Test Rajani.
Yes.
So you're doing, first of all, social work. What's your the area that you're pursuing?
Right now, I'm childcare and focusing on children in Barbados.
All right, so child care. So the types of foster care.
Right, well, right now there are 3 types of foster care. There is a short-term foster care where an approved foster parent from the child care board, who will be approved by the child care board, would foster a child for a period less than 6 months. There is a long-term foster care where a foster parent would foster a child for years. It may foster a child for a longer period of time, maybe years, up until the child is 18 and legally an adult. Or there is emergency foster placements where a child may be in an emergency situation and a foster parent on short notice, sometimes less than 24 hours notice, would have to foster a child. So it's important that, especially for the emergency foster parent, that you're able to contact them and they're prepared to foster a child at short notice.
So that suggests there must be some sign up. Somebody must make themselves available beforehand?
Yes, please. You can contact the child care board at 535-2800, or you can email at childcareboard@barbados.gov.bb and give your name and address and indicate that you want to be a foster parent. And then there is a form that you would have to fill out. Obviously, you do a medical, and the form is basically just about your social history, your ability to provide care for the child, your living situation, and very important, why you would want to be a foster parent. And obviously, you're bringing this child into your home. They're going to be a part of your family. So you want to know what your family thinks about you fostering of this child. You've spoken to them. And yes, there's also, after the application form, there will be an assessment process. So with the assessment process, you would come to the child care board, you would meet with the child care officers. It will be an agreement between you and the child care officers, how often you meet, how long you would meet for. And the child care officer will basically speak to you, is honestly getting to know you as an individual and as a family, because it could be an individual or a couple, a married couple, and getting to know you and just your strengths, and so we can decide which child to be the best place with you, and so you can have a full understanding of the process.
All right, so what's the good fit? Now, you are a foster parent. In the Barbadian context, we don't necessarily, as I mentioned before, look at it that way when we speak of grandparents, because you are a kinship foster parent, as it's called. So you are looking after your 3 grandchildren. Tell me about how the process came about and how you've been able to kind of navigate it.
Well, good morning again.
Good morning.
When I first found out that my grandkids were in the home, it hurt me. Because, I mean, children didn't ask to be here. And I believe that they just want love and care, security. So, like, I was just like adamant I need to get my grandchildren. I don't want my children to grow up in a home. I mean, sorry for calling them my children, my grandchildren, to grow up in a home. So I contacted the child care board and told them I was interested in getting my grands and stuff, and they assist me how they could. They told me that, well, instead of just taking them, they could offer foster care, whereas that they would be offering support in many farms. And there is like monthly checks, they check on the children, they involve the children in their activities. They don't just leave them, they don't just give you the children and leave them. They also involve you in they have seminars that they invited you to, and it's just to me is they're very supportive.
So a lot of support is what makes the difference.
Yes.
Talk to us about that, Ms. Sanderson, the difference in having children going to foster care and that level of support that Ms. Brown talked about.
Right. So once the foster parent is approved by the board, because all applications must go before the foster care adoption and foster care committee, and once you're approved, then and if it's not a kingship or a regular child, you can say which child, what type of child you want, sex child you want, age child you want, and that child is placed. They go through the psychological support where we have the psychologist on board who meets with the foster parent and the child. We also support them in every way possible. It's not just the stipend that we give, government gives, and we're hoping to increase that. Government is hoping to increase that shortly. But we also support them in parenting. We also support them if the child presents behavioral challenges. We also support them in maintenance. Anything the child needs, we provide educational, medical, and dental support for these children while they're there in care.
Well, are you in a position to talk to us about how the child care board engages then with the children as well, because you want to make sure the placement is right, so you're not only supporting the foster parent, but I would imagine it also calls for supporting the children or child to ensure that they're comfortable where they are.
Yes, it's important you engage each other because, as you said, UN Convention states that every child has a voice and a right to choose. So it's important that the children are spoken to, interviewed, see how they're fitting best in the system, how they're fitting best with the parent, how they're liking the environment they are, and just generally how they're doing in school, friends, just how are they developing as children. And it's best that we can support them in that.
All right, Ms. Brown, what advice would you give to someone who might be looking on and thinking, you know, maybe I should go and foster a relative or just another child who might be in residential care?
I would say go for it, honestly, because the amount of love that the children give back to you. I mean, the day you might had a hard day, and you come and you see these children. My grandchildren is like, Grand, how was your day? You had a good day? Your friends came to work today, you worked hard. Come, Grand, when you want a rub, the children, they want to show these children love, they can show you back love, right? And I mean, it's warm my heart, honestly.
I just want to add to Tisha that we want to debunk this myth out there that for you to be a foster parent, especially a kingship foster parent, you have to have a perfect home. That's not true. We ensure that the most important thing is that that child is in a nurturing, loving environment. You don't have to have the perfect home, a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-star house. We want to know that you can come forward and give that child the love and the support and the guidance. And we're there to help you along the way.
All right, this is a beautiful conversation today. So look into it. I know there are a lot of empty nesters out there. Your children might have gone off to college or they're now at university and you have the wherewithal to be able to take care of other children, or there might be family members who can help. So consider foster care and give the child care board a call because we really need to take care of our children. I want to thank you so much, Roxanne Sanderson, Caroline Brown,
yes, please,
and of course, Rajani Marshall, who shared with us this morning on foster care. Well, that brings today's show to an end. I want to thank you two for sharing with us as well. It was great to have you on this Monday morning. Today was a hard start for me. I don't know if you could tell. But maybe I did too much this weekend. But I wasn't all me today. But you know how that goes. Every day is not the same. But I certainly was working on getting us there. I'm shuffling through all these papers because somehow I can't figure out which paper I'm supposed to be looking at. You know how that goes. Anyways, I think I'm here. Coming up tomorrow, conversations on CARICOM. And we have some members of the Sankofa group who have come to Barbados from Liberia. They'll be here to talk with us, with the ambassador. Plus, it is time to chat with our favorite pediatrician, Dr. Gillian Birchwood, on pediatric care. A national parenting program has been launched by the National Peace Program, and we're going to learn more about that. and we're going to meet more of the contestants in the upcoming Roger Boys Classic. I don't know if you've been hearing the helicopters going around, but it's exercise trade winds as well. You'll hear more about that too. So we look forward to seeing and hearing from you tomorrow. Have a great day today. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.